Good morning, my friends. Today I will continue with part 5 on the mystery of existence. And today's topic is alchemy, transformation, and freedom. Once again, today's topic is alchemy, transformation, and freedom. Freedom for what? Freedom, unfettered freedom to create. Creativity is the fundamental activity of our consciousness. And what I hope to share with you is that if we understand the meaning of death, then we understand the meaning of birth. We understand the meaning of life as the continuum of birth and death, not life as the opposite of death. Life is the continuum of birth and death, and birth and death are always happening instantly in a timeless now. Thoughts are being born, they die instantly. Emotions are being born, they die instantly. Perceptions are being born, they die instantly. Feelings, emotions, images, imagination, desires, memories, all born and dying instantly. So birth and death are continuum of experience. Who is I am? I am is the source of all experience. The source of all experience transcends both birth and death. By understanding death as ultimate creativity, not only do we transcend our fear of death, actually we use death as an opportunity to create life. Once again, death is an opportunity to resurrect life all over again. Death and resurrection go together, like on and off go together. All existence is the on-ing and offing, the vibration of I am. So I'm going to take this step by step today so that I don't rush through it. I know that many people find the subject of death morbid. Many people find the subject of death morbid, but right now, since COVID-19 is giving everyone existential anxiety, a little bit of fear as well, suffering from the fear of death, having taken existence for granted, I think it's timely that we find out the meaning of existence so we transcend the fear of death, which is fundamentally spiritual experience as ultimate self-awareness. Okay, so if you're ready, we can start. And then I will also share a short meditation and a mantra to go along. How's that? A short meditation and a mantra to go along. To understand how knowing the meaning of death gives us access to alchemy, transformation, and freedom. Freedom to create life, to recreate life. Any moment, right now, there is freedom to create life any way you want. And it's less than a thought away. It's less than a thought away. So I'm looking at your feedback, and it seems that you're happy that I continue with this. And if you're not, please press the delete button so I don't torture you with this metaphysical rumination or what some people call pseudoscientific profound bullshit. So I assure you, everything I'm saying actually has been said before and is part of the great wisdom traditions of the world, East and West, non-world traditions. Vedanta, Kashmir Shaivism, aspects of Buddhism, the philosophy of Wittgenstein, going back all the way to Plato as well. So, let me start. I think, first of all, let's go back to what do we mean by I am. I am can mean two things. Witnessing awareness, in which all experience arises and subsides. Witnessing awareness, in which all experiences arises and subsides. And then even deeper, when witnessing awareness dissolves, something called pure consciousness. Pure consciousness, which is the ultimate source of all experience. The ultimate source of the experience of that which we call space, time, matter, information, energy, thoughts, feelings, emotions, desires, memories, aspirations, imagination. All that is part of our existence. And that is made possible because of what we as humans refer to as consciousness or awareness. What we refer to as consciousness or awareness. So there are many ways of defining awareness or consciousness. The most common is that consciousness is the knowing element in every experience. Rupert Spira, great non-dual teacher, talks about consciousness as that in which all experience occurs, all experience is known, and out of which all experience is made. If I were to look at consciousness or awareness and say, what are the fundamental activities of consciousness? Consciousness being the knowing element of experience, consciousness knows itself as experience. Once again, consciousness knows itself as experience. And these modes of knowing are fundamentally cognition, perception, emotions, feelings, and thought, which includes all the thought, ideological thought, reflective thought, imagined thought, etc. And then there's something else that consciousness has a property of, and that's volition. Volition or choice or will. Okay, so the fundamental activities of consciousness are cognition. What is cognition? Cognition is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and also of acquiring understanding. Once again, cognition is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, through experience, and through senses. That's what cognition is. Knowing. How do we know? We know through thought, experience, and the senses. So cognition is fundamental knowing through these activities. Of what? Of consciousness knows itself as these fundamental activities. Thought, emotions, cognition. Cognition includes perception, which is perceptual activity, which gives us the experience of what we call the physical world. And then there's one more element to consciousness, and that is volition. I move my hand, that's volition. Look there, that's volition. So cognition gives us experience and knowing, and volition is the desire to change the experience and knowing. That's it. Cognition, sensing, feeling, thinking, knowing, perceiving, they all give us the fundamental raw material for experience. Then volition, making a choice, looking here, looking there, moving your hands, speaking, actually trying to reflect on thinking, thinking about thinking, and observing these, and then changing the observation. These are acts of volition that change experience, that transforms experience. So going back to our words, alchemy is the creation through the reshuffling of qualia, qualities of awareness. What are qualities of awareness? Well, everything from sound to colors, to shapes, to forms, to sensations of all kinds, to smells, to volition. All these are experiences imbued with meaning. So before you see an object, let's say before you see this coffee cup, it's a color, shape, form, sensation, taste, smell, even a sound. And all these experiences, let's call them sensations, are entangled. They're in superposition. But then as soon as I imbue the superposition or entanglement of shapes, colors, forms, and sensations with meaning, then this becomes a coffee cup. So the deepest level, everything is entangled. Colors are entangled, shapes are entangled, sounds are entangled as noise, and everything is entangled, which means it's all one thing manifesting as another thing. But when that entanglement is given meaning, then it becomes an objective experience. That objective experience could be a coffee cup, could be a hand, or could be a painting, etc., etc. The entanglement of qualia, the entanglement of quanta, which is the measurement of qualia, and the entanglement of meaning constructs the universe, constructs this body, constructs everything that we call everyday reality or experience. But humans have this amazing capacity to not only construct experience, whether it's visual experience or auditory experience. Humans have this amazing capacity to give meaning to experience, create a context, a set of relationships, and a narrative, a story. And the timeline of this story is what we call life. From the moment of conception to the moment of death. In between, all kinds of things. Fertilized egg, embryo, zygote, baby, infant, toddler, teenager, young adult, old adult, mature adult, senile adult, death. That's the storyline, or could be a storyline. That's a narrative. And the narrative comes from giving meaning, context, relationship, and a timeline that includes past experiences. In Sanskrit, the residue of those past experiences called sanskara. So past experiences, karma, sanskara, then vasana, tendencies for volition, and then experiences. Okay, that's the timeline that we call life, a continuum of experiences. The reshuffling of qualia, the measurement of that as however you want to measure it, that's information. And then imbuing that with meaning and a narrative and a storyline that creates context and relationship is our life. This is how we create the experience of what we call mind, body, and everything that from life. This on and offing of qualias, the measurement of the on-off as quanta, and the meaning of the on-off as narrative, context, story. That's the soul's journey through cosmic time. Karma, memory, desire. Karma, memory, desire. That's how we create reality, including what we call the reality of a changing body, changing mind, changing emotions, changing experience of the physical world. Now, of course, when we look at things from a Western physicalist, materialistic perspective, where matter is the underlying ontological principle, matter is the ontological primitive, then we have a certain way of giving explanation, or we have explanatory power over what we call objective reality. It starts with the quantum vacuum, fluctuations of virtual particles, escape of certain particles to actual particles and atoms, and ultimately the organization of these particles into atoms, molecules, cells, bodies, biological organisms, but also inanimate matter, space-time, and the theater of space-time and causality. So starting with the quantum vacuum, virtual particles, but even the quantum vacuum starts with something even more primordial, which is called the singularity, where space-time, energy, information, matter, every experience possible is entangled in superposition of infinite possibilities. That's today's standard thinking from a Western perspective. But from another perspective, where consciousness is the ontological primitive, all this is experience. All this is the construction of experience and the interpretation of experience that we call body, mind, and universe. And who's doing it? Consciousness is doing it. Consciousness conceives, constructs, governs, and becomes what we call the reality of our mind, body, and universe. So, given that, there's another way of looking at these planes of existence that comes to us from the great tradition of the Vedanta, but also Kashmir Shaivism, all the great non-dual traditions, even Western. Schrodinger was an idealist and non-dualist, I think, as was Niels Bohr and Max Planck, and ultimately, of course, Plato, the original idealist as far as Western philosophy is concerned. But spiritual planes of existence are spiritual planes of experience. Okay? So let's see what they are. The most gross, the most obvious, the most physical aspect of experience is what we call inanimate objects. Okay, inanimate objects. This book, okay, this coffee cup, that painting. That would be the most gross symbolic representation of experience. So what is prior to that? What is prior to physical objects, inanimate objects, is animate objects, biological organisms, this physical body. Even though we call it a physical body, it's experiencing virtual reality, constant transformation. And what is transforming is modes of knowing and experiences, an intermittent stream of sensations, images, feelings, thoughts. But in any case, we are moving up the hierarchy of experience to the source of all experience. So inanimate objects, coffee cup, watch, Fitbit, painting, etc. The most out there, projected, gross, hard objects, inanimate objects. But what makes the experience of those inanimate objects possible is biological organisms. Biological organisms are also objects of experience, right? You experience your biological organism. But there's something interesting in that you can move it around. You can move it around, you can change its shape. You can morph it into different experiences. The physical body is a combination of elements: space, time, energy, information, matter, and consciousness, volition. Okay, now we are moving up the scale, right? But the physical body, as we know and experience it, is made of elements. Space, the first element. And you cannot have the experience of space unless there are objects to go along with the space. So, when you want to see this coffee cup, you can only see it because it is engulfed in space. You want to see me because I'm engulfed in space. So space and objects go together. In fact, the object itself is a manifestation of space. The object itself is a manifestation of space. If you take away all the objects, the space disappears as an experience. There's no space. Space and objects are experiences that go together. If there's no space, there's no experience of objects. If there's no object, there's no experience of space. If you take away the objects, including biological organisms, then space disappears. What's left? Left is pure potentiality, pure consciousness, pure possibility, infinite, uncertain, unpredictable, pure creativity, pure synchronicity, pure self-organization, pure self-regulation, and on and on. So all these are aspects of creation. Consciousness creates experience. Consciousness creates experience through knowing. And so pure consciousness interacts with his own self, and the first experience is space and objects. But those objects are perceptual activities of consciousness. Okay. So most fundamental level of existence is therefore pure consciousness. And that then becomes the silent witness of experience. And what is it experiencing? The silent witness of experience is experiencing itself. As what? As modes of knowing. What are the modes of knowing? Thoughts, feelings, sensations, perceptions, interpretations, imagination, on and on. Okay. So pure consciousness is Chit Akash, but it's not space-time. It is prior to space-time. And once space-time is generated through the vibration of consciousness, the first experience is silent witnessing awareness. But this silent witnessing awareness modulates itself as a very subtle vibration that we can call thought. And then a more gross vibration, less subtle vibration that we can call feeling. And then a little bit more imagining, creating a mix. Okay, so thought is the first vibration, feeling, emotion is the second vibration, imagining, and then perceiving, and then interpreting the perception, and there you have it, space-time, causality, the theater of experience. Now one can look at this from another perspective. So pure consciousness, complete silence, all possibilities, pure synchronicity, pure unpredictability, pure evolution, then silent witnessing, the witness then knows itself as vibration, thought. A little more gross vibration, feeling. A little more images, and then perceiving, and right here. So this experience, of course, contains the five elements we call the first element, the first element. We call it space, but then space is experienced also as the vibration that we call air, atmosphere, the light vibration. Okay. So space becomes a differentiated experience as air in these non-local consciousness as fundamental reality consciousnesses, the ontological primitive in these deeper understandings. Sensation is best embodied, lightest sensation, as the experience of air, which then transforms into the experience that we call colors, shapes, forms, the experience that we call seeing. So seeing becomes seeing gives rise to forms and phenomena, and then other forms of sensing, softness, sound, etc., tastes and smells, the conglomeration of this qualia entanglement, the meaning entanglement is the creation of reality. So the physical body contains air. Most prominent experience of air is here in the lungs, but also in the nose, etc. Water, the liquid element, circulation. Fire, the metabolic element, transformation. Earth, the physical element, all corresponding to different vibratory levels. Okay, thinking, feeling, emoting, imagining, perceiving, and then interpreting. Physical body, liquids, gases, these are all modified expressions of consciousness experiencing itself in those symbolic manifestations. And so now this is, of course, what we would call the dense lower vibration of consciousness, physical reality. But then there's another vibration, which is fine, little more refined, more subtle. And in those who are sensitive and have actually taken time to navigate what we call perceptual and cognitive space, the experience can be subtler forms of non-local reality. In spiritual literature, described as ghosts, apparitions, psychic phenomena. Psychic phenomena are nothing other than dormant potentials that actualize as experience when we go inward, when we shut off the senses. Pratyahara, it's called in yoga. Okay, so those apparitions, psychic phenomena, precognition, memory of other lifetimes, etc., etc. This is a finer, higher vibration. And then if you understand these higher, finer vibrations, then you have the experience of what the non-dual consciousness-only traditions sometimes call the astral body. The astral body, astra means stars. Okay, your body actually comes from stars. All the atoms in your body were manufactured in the crucible of burning stars. So astral body is the light body, the ghost body, but now it's there as the perceptual experience. If you are navigating the inner realms of experience, your physical body is actually a manifestation of the astral body. If by astra, you mean light, photons, electromagnetic energy, etc., etc. So what is even prior to the astral body is what we call celestial body. Celestial body is the subtle body of the universe. Just like it's the physical body that you have. The universe, physical body is the stars, the sun, the moon, the earth, the planets, the galaxies. But all of them also have a subtle body. There's an astral body of the universe, the celestial subtle body. And then go a little bit beyond that. All form, all phenomena totally disappears. Totally disappears. Only witnessing awareness is remained, and then even that dissolves into pure consciousness, the source of all experience, the source of all knowing, the source of all perception, the source of all interpretation. That ultimate source of all existence, formless, spaceless, timeless, inconceivable, unimaginable, singular, irreducible, the singularity, the ultimate singularity, formless body of bliss, who we are. Recycling as every possible form and phenomenon. So in this mapping of experience, you can see that birth and death are constructs based on a very, very gross interpretation of inanimate objects and physical bodies, which are actually the final manifestations of the vibration of existence. So consciousness is pure consciousness, it's Purusha, and the vibration of pure consciousness is Prakriti. Shiva Shakti. Stories around that is life, birth, death, experience, all human constructs, or a fundamental reality that has no beginning in time and no ending in time, and no edges in space. You, the ultimate reality. So let today's mantra just be Shiva Shakti. Shiva is pure consciousness, Shakti is the vibration. Anytime you think Shiva Shakti, you are understanding the mechanics of creation and the transcendence of both birth and death, with the freedom to create. Alchemy, transformation, freedom to create. Death is ultimate creativity, because in death, consciousness returns to its pristine, unfettered, pure, original state, to what is called the body of bliss, puzzle body, original. And that is who we are. Tattvamasi means that, Aham Brahmasmi means that. And the great teachings in the Bhagavad Gita, including the Upanishads, say the same. The true self is timeless, immortal. Water cannot wet it, wind cannot be dried, weapons cannot be shattered, cannot shatter. Water cannot dry it, weapons cannot shatter it, fire cannot burn it. It cannot be vanquished. It's who we are. Shiva Shakti. Raman Dikshit, Satyam Jnana, Jnanamantam Jnana. Satyam Shivam Sundaram as well. Okay, some of you are complaining that the sound is not great, and others are saying the sound is good. I'll keep working at this. Okay, in the meanwhile, Shiva Shakti.